Well, there are a couple of cases that really stand out, and one is this case of a decedent who had died and been buried in Florida. His next of kin, wife and son, got him exhumed and moved him from Florida to Arizona, reinterred. Then they decided that wasn't good enough, that something's suspicious going on. So they had him exhumed again, except this time they didn't go back. He came to California, came to Rose Hills in Whittier.
And when you say suspicious, what do you, like what? Who knows what they...
It's just the same old stuff. I mean, nobody ever dies a natural death. Everybody's been secretly murdered by the, the secret organization or something like that.
Right.
So he was a Navy veteran. God's sakes, let that man rest in peace. But they didn't, and they were having to solicit people for money to pay for all of this stuff, because it's a lot of these places don't do it for cheap. We're the same way. We don't do it for cheap. So they contacted our office and they got a hold of one of my senior lieutenants, Fred Corral, and talked with him. And he seemed to think that there was enough to hang our hat on. What they were concerned with is, who is this in the casket? They wanted him identified. So we said, okay, we will exhume him and bring him to the office and we will identify him. And it was all handled beautifully. Fred did a nice job. And our policy is, when we exhume a body, when we're done with it, it goes right back to that cemetery and goes back into the plot that was taken out of. They didn't like that idea. They didn't want that to happen at all. And, the folks at Rose Hills were so cool, so nice. And so they started disputing the identity. I think we identified him by x-rays. And Fred busted his hump to get those x-rays from wherever he had to get them from, so that we'd have something to compare to the body. And so they were just being difficult. And then I think we had a meeting with the medical examiner at that time, the chief medical examiner, and they lodged their concerns or whatever. So basically it boiled down to this, is that if, even though we've identified him, you're saying that's not your loved one. Now bear in mind, he's virtually skeletonized by this time. He's not a freshly embalmed body. So he didn't look like he's supposed to look.
Right.
So, but we identified things inside the casket, like a knit caftan comforter kind of a thing that was in there that matched what they said should be in the casket.
Right.
So then it was like, well, we don't think that's who he is. We're not going to sign off on anything or whatever. And we said, okay, fine, we'll make him a doe. If he's a doe, you don't have any jurisdiction over the body. We can do whatever we want with it. Which is like broke their spirit.
Right.
And ultimately, I think...
Yeah, it means you're not related to him anymore, therefore
that's right.
he's
so
not your responsibility.
we will control the disposition, which is what we're entitled to do. So that worked out to their frustration and our benefit. So another interesting case I handled was a diver diving off an oil platform out there in the whatever. And he was down like 740 feet or something like that. And we were able to get an ROV from one of the company that was doing the surveillance of, they do it on a regular basis to make sure nothing's leaking out of the oil derrick. So we got the ROV to go down, and I have a video of this whole process where the ROV grabs a hold of him and brings him up to the surface, and we recover him and bring him into the office. So that was, I thought, pretty fascinating. I'm a scuba diver myself, so this kind of stuff was just incredible to me, because sometimes people go in the water and they never come out.
Right.
Yeah. So it was nice to recover him.
So because he was so far down, it was sending a person down would have been...
Oh, there's no way. I mean, that's beyond recreational diving and probably pushing the limits of technical diving.
Right. So better to send a robot down.
Right. And it worked well. I mean, because it had little graspy hands on it, and it was able to grab a hold of him and move him.
Wow.
So, but it was interesting because he's laying there on the bottom just like he's sleeping on the bottom. I mean, he wasn't, he had a little bit of skeletonization for where the mass didn't cover here, where the fish would eat. but it was pretty good.
How long have you been down there? I guess a while.
Several months. I'd have to
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, he was down long enough to get
Munched on a
some
little
carnivore activity on
Right.
him.
Wow.